Yes, yes. What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Nick Harkson over here on Touchdown Detroit Lions over on Syndicate Sports Detroit. How is everybody doing on this Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening, depending on where you're at or depending on how you look at the day? But yeah, how's everybody doing? I'm going to let you get in here, get into the comments, let me know that you're here, say what's up. I'm going to from now on, I kind of jump into things real fast. So I'm going to give a few minutes from here on out to let some people get in here, say what's up, and we'll get this episode going. But yeah, we got some news to talk about this week. And, we've had every week, which I'm grateful for, especially in the off season. But a bunch of news dropped on Thursday and then over the weekend as well. But we'll jump into all of that. And right now I want to say I got a little distraction. I'm going to have to turn it off in the background, and it's already happened. But the Lions right now are on NFL Network. They're showing the replay of them playing the Commanders, and I just saw Swifty break off a great run after the catch. So, yeah, but here we go. Yeah, I'm turning it off right now. All right, but Lions are on NFL Network right now, showing a good win. Anyways, like I said, we have some news to talk about. So what's up, everybody? What's up, Kim? That's my mother. What's up? There's some Lions, old Lions news that I'm going to talk about right now. And these are particular Lions that maybe I don't like, especially the first news that we're going to talk about. We got Sean Payton reportedly saying that he's open to having Matt Patricia on his staff. Now, that's laughable to me. I would love to see what Matt Patricia and Russell Wilson can do over there. I think it'd be absolutely horrendous. But if they want to go that route, that's okay with me. We have Denver on the schedule next year. And I know that Dan Campbell wants to get that win regardless over Sean Payton. But if they add Matt Patricia on the staff, I'm not worried at all about that game. Because Patricia, I know the Patriots beat us last year, whatever. I just think Patricia is probably one of the worst coaches in NFL history. If you ask me, worse than the 0-16 team. All the years he was there with the Lions, I just couldn't stand the guy. He ruined the culture with whatever we had there with Jim Caldwell. He sabotaged the Lions. But you know what? Maybe it was for the better. Maybe it was a blessing in disguise because now we have Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes, whole new regime in there. Seems like we're on the right path. So could be a blessing in disguise. All right, moving on to a few more old Lions news, and I'll hop into the comments here in a second. I see you guys going off. I always address the comments, don't worry. And yeah, so you guys can, if you want, send me some questions right now. Sorry, I got something in my eye. Oh my God. Send me some questions right now, and I will answer them throughout the episode. But yeah, what's up, Fresh and Fly? What's up, John Peterson? I'll get to you guys' question. What's going on, Braylon Dennis? Yeah, I'd like to see you guys in here. But anyways, old Lions news. Kenny Golladay got dropped, or he's going to be released from the Giants. This comes as no surprise to anybody who's been following his career. But what happened to Kenny, man? He had some good years in Detroit, and he used to be one of my favorite players when he was the first few years there. I almost bought a Kenny Golladay jersey. I'm glad that I didn't. I know Pepsi teamed up with him to have an ugly Christmas sweater of Kenny Golladay and the Lions with Barry Sanders teaming up with it. I wanted that. It never came out. Glad I didn't get it, I guess. I just can't believe how good Kenny Golladay was with the Detroit Lions. And then he went over to the Giants and just flopped. I hope that he finds success somewhere else. I really hope the best for the guy because I did root for him a lot when he was with the Lions, but I just can't believe how far he fell off. And I think that what happened with him is that he just got his money and kind of just settled. He's like, you know what? Screw it. I got paid. My family's good to go. I don't want to try anymore. Because I don't know if you remember when he was in Detroit, he kind of sat out his last year there for a lot of the games with a hip injury. Although he was posting pictures of him in the club with his girl grinding up on that hip and whatnot. Anyways, yeah, Kenny Galladay's gone out of the Giants. Sorry for you, Kenny G. You were my dude here in Detroit, but it just didn't pan out anywhere else. Glad we did not re-sign you and avoided that bullet right there. Here we go. I see it right there. Kenny G returned to Detroit on a cheap prove-it deal. We can pass on. I don't know. I don't know. Just because of how bad he was with the Giants, and he dropped a lot of passes coming from Daniel Jones, not really Danny Dimes in my eyes. But I don't see it. I wouldn't mind it. I like Kenny G. Don't get me wrong. I loved him with the Lions. Like I said, I almost bought his jersey. I wanted that ugly sweater. But I just don't want to have him come back to Detroit to drop a bunch of passes or just to take up a roster spot and do nothing. Now, if we could motivate him to play again, a prove-it deal, it'd have to be a real cheap prove-it deal to me. It can't be anywhere close to his last deal. He's bottom-tier receiver now in the league after his performances with the Giants the last few years. And so, if he wants to come over for real cheap, maybe, but I think J-Mo can do much more than he can. So, it's not a bad idea. I think to reunite in Detroit, it might spark up something in him again, maybe rejuvenate his career. But I just don't want to go out and give him any kind of money. That's just where I stand on that. But it's not a bad idea. All right. And he says, I don't want to get rid of Shark. I don't either. We're going to have to make a move for Shark. There's some issues here with all that. I would love to bring him back. We're going to have to free up some more cap space, and we're going to get more into that. I got a lot to talk about some free agency and all this stuff. We're going to get into it, fellas. Trust me, ladies, we got this. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry, I was trying to cover both, everybody. But yeah, let's get into some smaller news before we get into the fun stuff, all right? The Lions have filled the void of their D-line coach. They have they have hired John Scott Jr. as their new D-line coach. Right here it says Penn State D-line coach John Scott Jr. is leaving a job for the NFL, and that is for the Detroit Lions D-line coaching position. I don't know a lot about the guy, and I really didn't even look much into him after I heard about the hire. I just hope that he brings a lot of good to Detroit and that he gets that defensive line working hard. We got some good guys up there. We're going to add some more, I hope, through the draft or free agency. And, I just really hope he gets them firing on all cylinders, gets the most out of these guys, and I trust Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell's hiring. So we'll just go with that. Another new addition to the Lions is Mac McCain, cornerback. Now, he was with the Eagles for a short stint, and he didn't play much, but I watched this guy's college highlights, and they were absolutely insane. I mean, if you go and watch what this guy did in college, I know it was for a smaller school and whatnot, but still, the talent is there, and you can see the potential. I don't think that this is a signing, he's not going to be a starting cornerback for us. I don't see that, but it does add depth, and maybe we can get rid of one of our weaker corners, because we've got some guys there, but they just have been underperforming. I'm talking about Amani Oruwariye. I don't know if we keep him around. So this signing right here, I think, is for more depth, but the potential is there. Go watch the tape. The guy's got skills. He's super fast. I would love to see him returning kicks or something, because when he breaks away, there's nobody catching him. The guy's got speed out of this world. But yeah, that's Mac McCain. He's a new Detroit Lion. So welcome to the team, Mac McCain. Love to have you over here. Another person that we brought back this week, and I'm happy to see it. Aaron Glenn is reportedly going to sign a contract extension for a multi-year deal with the Lions. It has not been finalized yet, but it's very close. And you know what? I'm not mad about it. He's been getting interviews for head coaching positions other places. I know that he started off slow each season with the Lions, but I think with some job security, and job security can go a long way. I think with some job security, he can focus more on getting to work rather than worry about losing his job or where he's going to go the next year, because he knows he was going to get some head coaching interviews and whatnot. He fires up those players. And I think that if we make some moves to bring in more players for him and the development of our rookies throughout the last few years, I think he's going to do a much better job from the get-go this year. He hasn't had a ton to work with on the defensive side. We've been struggling. We've had a lot of young guys and not the best veterans. I'm not, I love our guys. Don't get me wrong. But we had a few more key pieces, and I think Aaron Glenn can do a lot more. And like I said, with that job security, knowing that he's going to be here for a few years, he can kind of relax a little bit, take some of that pressure off of him that was on maybe going into this next season if he didn't have this multi-year deal. Maybe he's feeling that pressure like, oh, God, if I don't get this team going right away, they might fire me. So he's got security there. He's got time to work with the guys. Now, I hope that he doesn't get lackadaisical because of this, and I hope that he looks at it more as an opportunity to focus on these guys rather than to worry about where he's going to end up halfway through the season or at the end of the season. So I think it's a good move on the Lions' part right there. Keep your core coaching staff intact, and let's go. We got Ben Johnson. We got the man, DC, of course, leading the way. And now you got your defensive guy, Aaron Glenn, still with his boys, getting some work done, hopefully this next year. But yeah, moving on. It happened, everybody. We all expected this move. And this is where we're going to start talking about some free agency. But the Lions have officially cut Michael Brockers. This was a cap casualty. We all saw it coming. It needed to happen, and I'm glad they did it. No disrespect to Brockers. He just wasn't playing. And maybe he retires and comes back. He's not going to be the D-line coach anymore because we filled that. But maybe he comes back and helps us out a little bit. Who knows? But he's gone. And he freed up $10 million in cap space, which is great. And that's going to help us out tremendously. Now, I thought that we were going to be able, or not be able to, but I thought that we were going to be cutting more people more rapidly. I expected a few more cuts to come right after this. It hasn't happened yet. I still expect it. But the Brockers release does free up $10 million, and I expect more to be released there. But who are we going to go and get with this money? We can go out and get a significant player. And just with Brockers' money right there, it adds a good amount to what we already had, obviously. But one guy that we cannot go get anymore, as mentioned in the comments, is Daron Payne. Washington has franchise tagged Daron Payne, and I know probably a lot of Lions fans are upset with this. He would have been a good addition to this D-line. Now, I think that he would have cost a good amount of money. I'm not sure we would have went after him, but who knows? I mean, we're freeing up guys. Maybe this is the year that we make a splash. This is the year that I want us to make a splash, but we can't do it with Daron Payne, unfortunately. But a guy that we can do it with, and who has been named by ESPN, they paired the Lions with this guy as the best fit for him to land. And I'm talking about a linebacker from the Bills. He's a great linebacker, actually. Tremaine Edmunds. Like I said, ESPN named best fit for the Lions. They named the best destination for him is for the Lions. And I'd have to agree. Just because I think that the best destination for all these free agents are to the Lions. We're an up-and-coming team, and we got a lot going on, but we really need a linebacker. Now, I do think that he would cost a lot of money for us to sign him because he is a top linebacker in the league. He's done great for the Bills. I think he would be a great addition to the Lions. Imagine what him and Rodrigo could do right off the bat. But he's going to cost some cash. I do think, like I said, we're going to have a few more cap casualties on the team, and I want to see us go out and make a splash this year in free agency, at least for one guy to help us out big time on the defense, and I think Tremaine Edmunds would be a good addition. That's how I feel. What do you guys think? Do you think that it would be worth it to go out there and spend some money on Tremaine Edmunds? He's a proven linebacker in the league. Some guys see him as a top 5. Others see him less than that. I think he's good and deserves a good contract. I don't know about breaking the bank for him, but I think that he's worth bringing in. Now, it depends on how much he wants. Obviously, I said I don't want to break the bank, but I do want to make a splash this year in free agency, and I would not mind doing that with Tremaine Edmunds. But not so fast, okay? Because I just saw this come across my screen right now, and it happened earlier, but apparently Alex Anzalone says there have been talks with the Lions regarding his free agency. Whoo, Anzalone. Do we want Anzalone back? I mean, he's coming off probably his best career year, and some people still didn't like him. I personally liked what Alex Anzalone did out there this year, especially at the end of the year. I was an Anzalone hater for a little bit. I think that he was slow, but I think that he found his game, and once he really got smart with the defense, he was out there flying around and making plays and really made a difference on this defense down the stretch. What he did say, and I got it over here, he said, this is quoting Alex Anzalone. He said, there have been talks with them, talking about the Lions. Anzalone told former NFL offensive lineman Ross Tucker on the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. He said, quote, it's just everything is going to unfold in the next few weeks, so it's hard for me to say what's going to happen, but I feel like in the next few weeks, everything will unfold the way it's supposed to. So Anzalone seems confident like he's coming back. He seems to think after the next few weeks, things will unfold as they're supposed to, like he's going to come back to Detroit. That's what I'm assuming what he's saying. Now, do you guys want Anzalone back? I don't think it's a bad move. He knows the defense. Him and Glenn, they're like this. They're boys. He runs the defense through Glenn. He can be out there telling the guys what to do. He sees it. He's been there a few years now. I think he's very smart when it comes to football IQ out there, but just sometimes his physical abilities slow him down because he's obviously a slower linebacker in coverage. But I like to bring him back. Let him work with the younger guys. Like I've said this in multiple episodes in the past. Let him work with Rodrigo and Barnes another year. And I want to bring in a linebacker through the draft to have Anzalone be in there this next year to guide him and teach them the defense. I think would just be huge and very, very, very beneficial to our younger linebackers. And I think he's earned at least one more year with the Lions. Now, if we go get Tremaine Edmonds, then yeah, sorry, bye. But that's what I'm saying. Free agency starts here pretty soon. And like he said, we'll all find out in the next few weeks what's going to happen. But he seems to be confident that he's coming back. Alrighty. Well, I'm going to look into the comments real quick. We got some comments going on. And this is going to probably go back on some things that we were already talking about. But that's okay. I got time today. So let's talk about it. Here we go. Lion King is better than Shark. Wait, here we go. Shark injuries hamper him. Yes. Shark injuries do hamper him. He was injured a lot in Jacksonville. And then when he came to Detroit this last year, he was out for a lot of the season. When he came back, he was good for us. He was not very good before his injury happened, though, as well. So I think that's going to be a big factor on bringing him back is that they're going to have to evaluate, his injury past. He's very injury prone. I don't know the last time he's lasted a full season. So maybe that's a reason why we don't bring him back and go get a different receiver in free agency, or it's now time to trust in JMO. But here we go. I like Anzalone to still be here. Like I said, I do too. We need speed and Homer. Devin Bush on Madden, a beast. Okay, Devin Bush, a lot of people want to bring him back. He's a Michigan boy. I wouldn't mind, but I think that he's going to cost more than Anzalone. So, like you said, we need speed. Go through the draft. Have Anzalone be there as a mentor. I think there's going to be a linebacker, maybe not start day one that we draft in the second round, but they'll contribute throughout the season. I do believe that. I think that there's good enough linebackers that we can pick up one at least in the second round that will contribute to this team next year right away. Not going to be a beast off the bat, I don't think, but with Anzalone's help, I think they'll be a good contributor to this team next year. Here we go. Alex Smart, I give him that, but missed too many A-gap blitzes. Yeah, and he misses tackles. The only reason why I bring Anzalone back is not for his ability on the field. It's because he knows this defense like the back of his hand, and he could really help these younger guys to hand it over to him. I don't see him with the Lions for a long time. I see him maybe one, Max 2 years. I don't even see him for 2 more years. I see them signing him for 1 more year just to hand the reins over to either Rodrigo or maybe a new linebacker that we draft in this draft. But other than that, I don't see Anzalone here for long term. I'm sorry. I love the guy. I just don't see him as being, the lead guy here for years to come. And maybe not even next year. He's just there to kind of guide the way, to hand over, here you go. This is yours now. Here you go, son. All you. That's all I see him doing. If we can bring back Anzalone on a cheap deal to be a vet leader, cool. But we also need some premier talent at that spot as well. I do agree. That's why, I said Tremaine Edmonds. I would have him over 100% over Alex Anzalone or other people. Go out and get a linebacker. I'm fine with that. I'm just saying I won't be mad if we do bring Alex Anzalone back on a cheaper deal. And I think that he's more valuable than Devin Bush at this point because I don't see, I think Devin Bush wants more money, and I don't see him being the leader out there, the top linebacker that we need for the future. I think he would just be, a fill-in guy for a few years as well. So why not just bring back Alex Anzalone for a cheaper deal? I know everybody loves Bush because he played at Michigan. I don't have any ties to him. But so to me, Alex Anzalone is better to bring back than to bring in Bush. But if you want to go get Tremaine Edmonds, I'm okay with that all day. Okay, we are going to move on to some other news. And this isn't really news. We are in the talks. We're in the spotlight right now to potentially go out and get Jalen Ramsey. Actually, we're listed as one of the top teams to maybe potentially go and get him. And it's been reported that he's probably going to be traded within a week or two. So to watch out for that. I personally don't want to trade for Jalen Ramsey. I don't want to give up any draft capital. I don't want to trade away any players. I don't think trading just Swift for Ramsey doesn't get the deal done. You're going to have to give more than just Swift. That's just what I think. The Rams are going to want more than just Swift. If people are like, give Swift up for Ramsey, just fair deal. No, that's not how it works. The Rams aren't going to be like, okay, cool. Yeah, we'll take your injury-prone running back for our top cornerback. It's not going to happen if you think we can just switch Swift and Ramsey. It's not going to go that way. And like I said, don't want to give up any draft picks. Definitely not a first. Maybe one of the seconds, but I don't even want to do that. I would rather have no deal get done to where the Rams are like, you know what, we want more, and none of these teams are giving it to us, but we don't want you on the team. We're just gonna drop you. You're a free agent now. Then go out and get the guy. That's the only way I would want to go and get Ramsey. I'm saying it. But I do think he could come in and make a difference right away still, even though I don't want to go and trade for him. He is 28. He's got a lot of good years left. But I would rather, if possible, get him through free agency. Now, he is going to want a new deal no matter what when he comes to goes to wherever he goes, whether it's in Detroit or whatnot. And I think he's going to want a lot of money. So is he worth all the money if we do bring him in anyways? I don't know. I think that, like I said, he's a great player, but he also is very dangerous if he comes into Detroit. We've had a lot of guys on the team who are Dan Campbell mentality. They love football. They go out there, they play hard. I'm not saying Jalen Ramsey doesn't. I think that he does love football, but he does come with a big ego, much bigger than a lot of the guys in the NFL. He thinks that he's the best corner in the league, and he might be. But he definitely knows that, and he walks around with that big ego. Do we want a guy like that? We might already have a few, and maybe Dan Campbell's checked them. But I think Jalen Ramsey is dangerous because I think he does come in and he'll buy in right away. But the second that he does not like what Dan Campbell or Brad Holmes is doing, I could see him backlashing against the team, causing a little problems with his ego, and I don't think that we need that in our locker room. If we're winning, of course he's gonna put his head down. He hasn't really been in the media for bad publicity with the Rams, but I just don't want to risk it, having him come over, get a big contract, and then him not even liking what's going on here, and he's not playing his hardest, but he got his contract, kind of a Kenny Galladay situation where got my deal, just gonna rest because I don't like what you guys are doing over here. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I just could potentially see something with Ramsey happening that way. So I personally kind of just want to stay away from it. Now, there's other guys on the team like Jerry Jacobs who disagree with me because he's been out here actively recruiting Jalen Ramsey like crazy. He's all over Twitter saying all this, he goes, what are we waiting on? At Jalen Ramsey, we can do some great things in the D. My guy, trust and believe that. And I'm not doubting that at all. I think that Jerry Jacobs and Jalen Ramsey would work great together. I'm just worried about him coming over and not fully buying in after we buy in on him. But, like I said, he was playing for a bad, I could just be completely wrong. He was playing for a bad Rams team last year, and he still balled out. He tried to get the Lions into the playoffs. You saw it. But I would personally stay away. Go and get a few DBs in the draft. Keep building that way. I think we're going to be okay. Go splurge in free agency for some other defensive help. Washington just dropped one of their top corners, their slot corner, and I think that maybe we could go get him for a good deal. He's a slot corner. I don't say I want to go get him. I just say there's other ways to rebuild that defense than to trade away some top draft picks and spend a lot of money on a guy like Jalen Ramsey. That's just where I stand. I'm going to go back into the comments now because I see you guys going off over here. Here we go. Back up the Brink truck. Promise a statue. Anything we need. Ramsey. Okay. You want Ramsey. I care nothing about his diva-ish. All right. See, and I see this too. I don't want him to come in and ruin the culture, man. I don't want there to be a problem. I think the culture is great. I don't want any divas on the team. We kind of already saw that some people were saying J-Mo was being a diva. He hasn't even been out there, and I think Jalen Ramsey, he'll do great things, whatever. But I like the way that we're doing it. I want to build through the draft. I don't want to spend draft capital on him, and I don't want to trade away any of our players. That's just me personally. If we go out and do it, I trust the process. I'm not going to be mad if we get Jalen Ramsey. I definitely won't be. I'm not going to be on here like, oh, man, we got Jalen Ramsey. I didn't want him because we traded away. No, if we go and get him, I'm going to be all in. I'm just telling you what I think would be smarter to do, and it would be for me to save the draft picks, save some money. I know you want to break the bank. If we do it, I'm in. But for now, I'd rather see us build through the draft. That's just me. But I like your, I like the comment. What's up, KD3? All right, we're going to move on here. That's my spiel about Jalen Ramsey. Now, we've got some exciting things happening this week. The Combine is happening, and I love the Combine. Now, of course, none of the action is really happening today or tomorrow. We get to see the D linemen start, I believe, on Thursday, and I'm excited for it. The coaches are just up there now, doing their little interviews, their little press stuff that they have to do. So it's going to be kind of boring, but they're all there. They're ready to go, and Thursday is when the action gets going. But, we got some news coming out of the Combine. A few of the top guys that we're looking at are not really going to participate too much in there, and I'm talking about Tyree Wilson. He's, coming off of a foot injury, so he feels it'd be better to do a pro day and wait a little bit. But he is expected to do the bench press there, so, we'll at least get to see how strong he is. But it says here, he's not going to fall down the draft board, at least to me, not Tyree Wilson. He's got the wingspan of Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak, which is crazy. But I just think that Tyree Wilson is going to be a good player in the NFL, and I hope that he gets to us there at 6, but possibly there might be another guy who drops to us at 6, and this is a guy who's sitting out the Combine. I'm talking about Jalen Carter. He's going to do a pro day as well, but a lot of people think that he's sitting out because he's out of shape right now, which is okay with me because I think that it might benefit us in the long run. A lot of guys might see this as a red flag that he's not competing in the Combine because of who knows, it's not an injury reason. And he might drop down the draft board. And if he drops to number 6, I'd be perfectly okay with drafting him even if they say he's out of shape. I know Dan Campbell and those guys can whip him into shape, and he can be a beast in this league. So if him not competing in the combine drops him down the board, I'm all for it. Jalen Ramsey, or not Ramsey, I'm talking about Ramsey still. Jalen Carter, sit that combine out so you can drop down that board at number 6, where the Detroit Lions can pick you up. All right, I'm going to get back into a little bit more non-draft talk, but then jump right back into some draft talk because this will kind of lead into that. But, before I started this episode today, I was really hoping that we would have some news about Jamal Williams being re-signed to Detroit, or they had plans to, that they're getting close to, something. I just wanted to know. I wanted to hear that we're bringing our dude Jamal Williams back. Now, I still expect it to happen, but it is a business in the NFL, and it might not. So if that does not happen, I know I said before I was all on board for just defense with the first 2 picks, but if we cannot bring Jamal Williams back to the room or to the team, I want Bijan Robinson at number 18. I said it. I think he's a great player. He was listed as top 5 player on ESPN in the draft. So I think that if we don't get Jamal, he could be a great addition there. If he drops to 18, I think he will be there at 18. And I've been defense this whole time, first 2 picks. But if we can't bring Jamal back in this draft, I want us to go get Bijan Robinson if he's there at 18. Now, if he's not, I don't want him to get it. I don't want to go get him at 6. I'll say that. But if he's not at 18, there is that Jahmyr Gibbs out of Alabama, who I think maybe we could get in a second round. But all in all, I would love to see Jamal Williams come back to the city that he loves and the city that loves him. I'm talking about Detroit. We need to lock up Williams. But if he's not there, I think that shakes up the draft a little bit for us, and we don't necessarily go defense with our first 2 picks. And I would love to see us go get Bijan Robinson, the running back out of Texas. Now, maybe we don't even do that because there is going to be some top free agent running backs or top running backs that are free agents this year. Like Saquon Barkley. I expect him to go back to the Giants. Nick Chubb, probably go back to Cleveland. I don't know, though. Maybe we can convince them to come over to Detroit if we don't get Jamal. But like I said, I want Jamal. I want Jamal Swift combo to still be there. I'm going to hop back in to the comments. I see what's going on. Defense was historic, so we need a vet. Yeah. I agree. We're back on the Ramsey thing here. We definitely need a vet. And I've been saying this. We need a vet DB. I just don't know if we do back up the Brinks truck, like you said, for Ramsey. He's going to want a lot of money. He's going to want a big-time deal. I think the next place that he goes, he's going to want to retire there. So he's going to want a long career. And he's 28. Corners don't last as long as quarterbacks in this league. I think that he definitely has good years left in him. But do we give him a 5-year contract? That I don't know. All right, let's get into a little bit more draft talk. I'm going to hop back over to the draft. Mel Kiper, he dropped his 2.0 on us. And I just looked at the first round. He had us taking Gonzalez out of Oregon, the cornerback, and at number 6. And then he had us taking a linebacker out of Arkansas at number 18. Now, when he took Gonzalez at number 6, Tyree Wilson was still on the board. So he took Gonzalez over Tyree Wilson. Would you guys do that? I don't even know if you guys like Tyree Wilson. I like him. That's who I would get at 6 over Gonzalez because I personally think there's going to be a good corner there at 18. Now, if Jamal's gone and we need a corner, I want to go best player available, but I still go Bijan. I still think there's going to be a good corner in the second round, but I would rather get one at 18 if we could. If Jamal's gone, maybe the Gonzalez is the pick at 6, then we go Bijan at 18. But personally, going off of Mel Kiper's 2.0, and I'm not taking this to heart. I got some flack last week for my mock draft reviews. I don't take those seriously. I just think they're a lot of fun, and it kind of gives you, an idea of what other guys are thinking. And a lot of the times, with certain teams, they are accurate. So it's fun to look at. But anyways, Mel Kiper's 2.0, he passed up on Tyree Wilson, and Christian Gonzalez went to the Lions instead at 6. I personally don't agree with that. I would go with Tyree Wilson at 6, and then go get your corner at 18. That's just me personally. Nothing against Mel Kiper. He's been doing the mock drafts for years, but I would rather get Tyree Wilson there at 6. I think Gonzalez could potentially drop to 18. He's going at 14, 13 in a lot of other mocks. Like I said, mocks mean nothing, but I think that we could get a good corner at 18 there if we go with Tyree Wilson at 8. All right, guys. Go ahead and give me your questions if you want. I got a few more things to talk about before I get out of here today, but if you got some questions for me, I will answer them. Any question, as long as it's football Lions related, I got you guys. But here we go. Some more Lions news, and this isn't really that significant or important, but it is a bummer. The Lions are not going to be getting new jerseys this year. They are going to have an alternate helmet, but it looks like the new jerseys will be coming in 2024, which is a bummer to me because I was waiting for the new jerseys to be released to get a new jersey, and now I got to wait another year. I don't even know if I'm going to get a jersey this year again because they are releasing new jerseys next year. Maybe I will, but I think it's hurting their sales. Come on, guys. Get those jerseys out. We need those new jerseys. Don't keep stalling them. How hard is it to come up with a new Fire logo? Not a logo, but just uniform. I don't think we need to veer away from our colors too much, but come on, guys. Yeah, I see Deron Payne off the board. We talked about that. A little bit earlier. But here you go. The rest of the comments coming in. Deron Payne is off the board with the tag from Washington. Should we pursue Hargrave from Philly if they let him go? I don't think that would be a bad move by any means. But, maybe we don't address that need in free agency. I would love to ramp up the defense in free agency. Gives us a little bit more, leeway in the draft. We can go offense early on too. If there's a guy, just best player available is there, we can get him and not feel so bad. I know Brad Holmes doesn't feel bad at all anyways, but I'm talking about the fans here. Wouldn't feel too bad about doing that. So, I don't think that would be a bad move at all, if you ask me. But and I'm sorry, guys. I do have some bad weather where I'm at right now, so I'm not sure that this connection is staying strong. But I'm gonna keep going anyways. Hope you guys are with me and can hear what I'm saying. Give me a thumbs up if you're still with me. I think we're all still with me. This happened before. I don't know why this happens sometimes. But anyways, yeah. Deron Payne, it's a shame that he is off the board. But yeah, there's a lot of things we could do with free agency, and I think, the next few weeks we're gonna find out really the direction this team is going as far as the draft. I think that we're gonna free up some more space. Vitae, I think, needs to get cut, but maybe they have plans for him. He's just been injured, and I think he's just eating up that cap space. It's time to move on from him. We already released Brockers. I think that we are going to move on from a few more guys as well. I'm talking Charles Harris and potentially Romeo Okwara. If we do that, where's my guy who is Jalen Ramsey, back up the Brink truck? Then we have plenty of money, I guess, to do it. But we need to start making some more cap casualties. And if we want to make some big-time moves here in free agency, and I really want to see us go and do it this year, there's plenty of guys out there who are Dan Campbell-style guys, and don't expect us to go get the top guy who is there, because I don't think that's what we do. I think we go out and we find the guys who fit this mold, who can come in, make a difference for the plan that we have, not necessarily just be the big-time name, like a Jalen Ramsey, but Jalen Ramsey can fit in anywhere. But I do think you'll see us going a little bit smaller than what people expect. Harris 1 year into a 3-year. Are you talking about Charles Harris? You want him to go? You want us to keep him? I'm sorry. I think we're getting rid of him. That's just where I see. I think that we can free up a lot of space. And our young guys are already proven to be something. Pascal's going to be there next year. He's going to be healthy. He was there at the end of the year, and he kind of made a difference. He got a few sacks in one game. So I think a full year of healthy Pascal you're going to see a big difference. I also hope that we go and re-sign Isaiah Buggs. He did great things for us on the run game. I just want a 1 year out of him. I don't necessarily need, a multi-year deal from him, but get a guy in there, maybe draft a guy or get a younger guy and have Isaiah Buggs kind of mentor him the same way Alex Anzalone could to the linebackers. Now, I would rather part ways with Anzalone than Isaiah Buggs. No disrespect to Buggs or to Anzalone, but if we do get rid of Anzalone, we're going to need to fill that void as well. I do think Rodrigo is going to have a breakout year, but I don't, we're definitely going to need to replace Anzalone. You can't just get rid of him and have Rodrigo and Barnes, even though I love that duo. But I think that's a big drop off. I think we need to bring in a linebacker, in the draft, keep Anzalone, have him mentor him, or go out and get Tremaine Edmonds or somebody like that, and then we're good to go. All right, here we go. Eric's elaborating on Harris here. He's saying, and we got Braylon, hell no, Eric. I'm saying they just signed him last year, not saying it was worth it or he's lived up to it. Okay, yeah, and we did, but we can still cut him and save some money. He had a great year before this last year, but he was injured this entire year. He came out, did a little work in his first few games that he was with us, but then he was out for the year, and our young guys stepped up, made a big difference, and that's why I think that we just move on from them, because when you got guys that you're paying less and they're going to be there for a lot longer, it just makes more sense to keep them and build them than to keep a guy who's eating up your money. All right, guys. Well, I don't have much more to say here unless you want to give me a few more questions. But if not, that's going to do it for me. I'll give you guys a few more minutes. Once again, I am really excited for the combine to start this week. That means off seasons start to roll. Free agencies start next week. Hopefully we go out and get some big names. Hopefully we re-sign some guys. I've given you my top 5 who we should bring back. I'll run over it one more time for you if you haven't been here with me in the past. But I think that we need to bring back Jamal Williams. I would love to see DJ Chark, Isaiah Buggs, John Kaminsky, and Alex Anzalone. And actually, if you want to go in order, I would switch up Kaminsky and Buggs. I think Kaminsky is a great addition to this defense last year that we picked up on a cheap deal, a 1-year prove-it deal from Atlanta, and he wants to come back. I think we could get him on another cheap deal because he just wants to be here. So bring back Kaminsky, bring back Buggs, bring back Jamal, and I would love to see Chark and Anzalone there as well, although we don't know what the future holds for any of these guys. All right, we got one more. Here we go. I'm just questionable about the revolving door at our DN position. Yeah, we talked about it. No, and I agree. It wouldn't hurt to have him there as depth. But I think we go out and get somebody in the draft. A lot of people are saying leave the edges position alone. We got Houston. We got Aiden Hutchinson. We could re-sign Okwara. Well, a freak athlete like Tyree Wilson will come in right away and make a difference. And you can have Hutch, Houston, Pascal. This guy, Tyree Wilson, it's going to just make a big difference to bring him in. I'm not saying we get him, but I say we go through the draft, and if we don't get a guy through the draft, then maybe they're waiting to cut Harris to see what we get through the draft. Who knows? But I think that we're going to cut Charles Harris. Personally, that's just where I see it. I think if we do keep one of the guys who's an edge or a D lineman, it's Romeo Okwara. He's a proven player for us. I'm not saying Charles Harris isn't, but Romeo Okwara, he's coming off of, he had a bad Achilles injury, and then he came back this last season, got a few sacks towards the end of the season. If we're going to bring back a guy, I would rather bring back Romeo Okwara, and I would cut Vaitai and Charles Harris. That's just me. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me today. I'm here every single Tuesday unless something comes up, but I am here most Tuesdays. I'll be here next Tuesday, and that is at 5 p.m. Detroit time, 4 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. on the West Coast. Every single Tuesday, you can catch me, Touchdown Detroit Lions, over here on Syndicate Sports Detroit. Until next time, everybody, peace.